Well, hello everyone. How's everyone doing today? It's Chef Jazzy John. I am back once again. Hope your spring has been going well for you. So since this month is May, and I know one of the holidays of May is Cinco de Mayo. So Cinco de Mayo kind of inspired me to do chicken enchiladas with a homemade enchilada sauce. The sauce is really what puts your enchiladas over the top. That's the huge part of it. So let's get right into this. I have my Latin jazz playing in the background. So let's get right into it. So basically what I did was I took a chicken breast and I sliced it just like that. And then I took it and I seasoned it with a teaspoon of salt, which you can season to taste, a teaspoon of pepper, and a teaspoon of cumin. I always like to add a little cumin because it just kind of elevates the flavor. And then we just kind of mixed it all together and seasoned it up, okay? And then what I did was just put it in a pan with about a couple tablespoons of oil, and I sauteed them, brown to make sure they were completely done. Chicken is always done at 165 degrees. So basically, I went on and I did some already to save time. So this is it, it's already cut. So what we're gonna do is let this cool off while we prepare the sauce. Then we're gonna come back and we'll shred this chicken up. So next, let's move to the stove. So now we're at the stove, we're gonna prepare our homemade enchilada sauce. So what I'm gonna do is, as I put in the ingredients, I'm gonna give you the measurements. So we're gonna start with 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm gonna just pour them in your pot. This is basically what we're gonna do is make a roux, and then we're gonna add all the ingredients. So that's 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And then so we're gonna let that heat up. Let's let that heat up a little bit. So I already have my stove warm, because next we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of flour. And we're gonna just make sure that that's even. I'm using a wooden spoon. You can use a wooden spoon or you can use a whisk. And basically what this is called a roux, which is a thickener. This is what's gonna hold it all together. Let you guys see. So basically just melt in some oil and some flour. Like I said, if you want to use a whisk, you can. Either one of them really works well. Okay, so now I have that in. Let it thicken up just a couple of seconds. So next we're gonna add in 4 tablespoons of chili powder. Chili powder is gonna give us the color and some flavor. So we just continue to stir it. I'm gonna turn my stove down a little bit to about medium. Just kind of let all that go, and it's going to look kind of crumbly. But just make sure all this is mixed in very, very well. Okay, let you guys see how it looks. Okay, so now we're going to add in our onion powder. A teaspoon of onion powder. Okay, and a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And we're gonna continue, we're gonna incorporate all of that. And this sauce only takes like 10 minutes. It's a lot of ingredients, but it goes really fast. So basically just wanna get all this incorporated together, all these nice flavors. And it's already smelling great. Okay, so then we're gonna put in our 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Well, 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Like I said, everything is basically to your tasting. Okay, so now we're having our salt. Just take your time, there's no hurry. Oh, and I meant to tell you guys, but did I already say that? Okay, about the chicken, just to make sure it takes about 1.5 cups of chicken to make 8 enchiladas. Okay, so now we're gonna add in a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cumin and a 1/4 teaspoon of oregano, dried oregano. So we're gonna just continue to stir all this together. This is a really quick recipe. Okay, just make sure everything is incorporated. Okay. see. Okay. So now we're gonna add in 2 1/4 cups of chicken broth. Alrighty. Okay, so we're gonna add in our chicken broth. And with the flour, with the roux, that's what's gonna thicken it up. Okay. So let that cook for a second. I'm gonna turn this back up a minute. Okay, so now we got a beautiful color. You have all your great seasonings in there. So now we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. That's also gonna be a nice thickener. So we just add that in. Okay, we're gonna stir that all in. And we're gonna just let this simmer for a second. And voila, you have a homemade chicken enchilada sauce. It's gonna be so great, you all will see. Mexican food is one of my favorite cuisines. I love Mexican food. I probably could eat Mexican food at least twice a week, but usually about every other week. So we're gonna just continue to let this cook for a second. I would say about 2 to 3 minutes. And we're gonna set it to the side. And then we can go back and shred our chicken. Alright, this is thickened up really nice. Enchilada sauce is not a real thick sauce, it's just a very flavorful sauce. And once it bakes into the chicken, then it's just great. So as I said, you want to bring your sauce to a nice simmer. You said I did go get my whisk. You want your whisk to make sure you don't have any lumps, make sure it's nice and smooth. So then I brought it to a simmer. You can kind of see it bubbling there. So what we're going to do, once it starts to bubble, we just turn it off and let it start to cool off. And as it cools, it's going to thicken. So now we're going to go back and shred our chicken and assemble our homemade chicken enchiladas. So it is assembly time. So I have 2 1/2 cups of cheese. So I'll be using half of the cheese to put in the enchilada. So we have our cheese, our chicken with our sauce. I have my casserole dish. I have 8 enchilada shells. And I have a little bowl of water just to keep my hands neat because it does get kind of messy. So also, if you would like, but I'm not gonna do it, I add some mild chilies or spicy chilies. If you like jalapenos or whatever you want, you could also add that into your chicken mixture. So let's get started. So take your enchilada and hold it oblong way. Most shells, I should say, are actually not round, but they're oblong. So you want to make sure you try to have the long way. So we take a little bit, probably about a teaspoon, whatever you need. And this is definitely a hands-on job. Okay, and then I take a little cheese and just put it right there on it. So now to fold it, okay, here's the tricky part. So you try to pull the meat as close as you can to you, like so. And then, so you're gonna make sure you squeeze it, make sure it's nice and firm as you can get it. So you roll over one time, and then we take it and we tuck this side in, and then we tuck this side in, and then we continue to roll it. Okay, and then you always wanna make sure, and then you tuck it in again. And you always want to make sure that the seam is down when you put it into your dish. So that's down. Don't worry about the ends. If they come loose, it's okay. You just kind of tuck them in. Okay, so I already cheated and started 1. So there's 1, that's 2. Okay, so we take another shell, put on a little chicken. Okay, put a little cheese. And we roll it up. Okay. This is fun. Sometimes you can get the kids to help you. So you're gonna remember to pull it all the way back as tight as you can. Now see, this shell's kind of tore up already. And you're gonna tuck in both sides of your shells. and you just wrap it over, and then you try to tuck in the other side of your shell. Like I said, if it comes loose, there's no big deal. And always make sure that your seam is on the bottom. You can press it up against the end of the dish, so you don't have to worry about that end. So we're gonna do one more. Just a little bit of chicken. You could have some Spanish rice or refried beans or Mexican corn. I love Mexican corn. Okay, so we're gonna put a little cheese in. Stick it on top. Make sure you don't put too much chicken in. You won't be able to roll it over, or either you can actually use a larger shell. These are basically some taco shells, flour taco shells. And also, if your shells, make sure they sit out before you use them and get room temperature. If they're kind of stiff, just pop them in the microwave for a second. So you roll over, and we tuck it again. Now see this shell, you know, shells are not perfect, so don't worry about it. So that's 4 that we've got done. Okay, so I guess I could go on and do all of these real quick. So chicken. Now like this shell, look like it's a little larger. So like I said, shells are not perfect. Not by a long shot. Okay, add a little cheese. Okay, bring it forward a little bit as much as you can. Make it firm. Tuck it in. Tuck the other side in. Try to get that tucked back in. Roll it over. Tuck it again. Just tuck it in down there. Roll it over. Put the seam side down. And then we got another one in there. Okay, so we got 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now we're gonna do these last 2. I am so loving this experience with you guys. It has been a life-changing experience for me. This is something I had always wanted to do, and I just never got to it. But once Corona came, I had time and I had to offer. Okay, rinse my hands. My little paper towel. Add cheese. And this is gonna be the last 2 I'm gonna do. Okay, a little more cheese. I just really want you guys to get the rolling part, because that's the most difficult part for some people. So press it up against, roll it over, then roll it like this one time, and then tuck it again. Just with your thumb, just tuck it in there, and fold it over, and you put it in your casserole dish. Okay, so we got 1 more to go. So we're gonna push it forward, then you roll it over, then you roll it 1 more time, then you tuck it again, and roll it over, and you put it in. Okay, so that's enough for this. Alrighty, so we're gonna put this away. So now, and actually I use aluminum foil because it makes it such a much easier cleanup. Okay, so now we're going to get the rest of our sauce. It's looking nice and thick. It's smooth. And in the meantime, have your oven heating up at 350, because this goes into the oven for about 20 minutes. So we're gonna just pour the sauce over it. Yeah, just drown it in the sauce, because that's what makes it really, really good. Okay, and then we add on all this beautiful cheese. Make sure you can see. Okay. And once again, I always tell you all, you know, you can add or leave out as much as you want. I like mine cheesy and saucy. Okay, spread it out. Guess I actually had too much cheese, but hey, that's okay. Do one more layer of cheese because it's gonna just get melted. Okay, so now we're gonna put this in the oven on 350 for about 20 minutes until it's, you know, they're nice and brown, cheese is bubbly, and we will take it from there. So we are back. The chicken enchilada with the homemade enchilada sauce is ready. It's beautiful. I had to let it cool off a little bit today because I didn't want to burn my mouth, but I cannot wait. So let's take a slice. Try to pick the right tool. So I'm just using a spatula. The sauce is nice and creamy. It's nice and cheesy. And there you have it. Just gonna have one for now. So we're gonna add a few garnish. A little dollop of sour cream. Maybe some little mild green chilies. I like spicy things. I have some Spanish rice and beans. I didn't use pinto beans because I don't really care for those. So these are actually some kidney beans, but sometimes I may use black beans. So you can use whatever type of bean you like. You don't have to use any beans. You can just eat it by itself. You really don't need any sauce, anything with it. So let's take a cut. I'm trying to let you see, but it's beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna take a taste. Another successful dish that we created. I'm so glad that you all joined me today. I hope I was helpful. If you have any questions, call the library, go by the library, pick up your recipe. And I believe that's it for now. If you have any questions, please feel free to stop by the library, get the recipe, and if there's any other suggested recipe that you would like for me to prepare, just leave it at the library and we'll make it happen. Okay, until next time, Chef Jazzy John. Today I'm listening to Latin jazz. Have a great one.